Hello and welcome to this Unified Communication Self-Training class GCS level. My name is Ilyas Namran and I am a Regional Product Engineer here at Grandstream EA, and I am in charge of the Unified Communication and Collaboration solution. And in this class, we're going to look at the API and third-party integration that we have with our IP-PBXs. So without further ado, let's get into this class. In this class, we're going to focus on the UCM's API and the types of configurations and extractions that can be done on the UCM through API. We're going to talk also about the UCM's integration with some important platforms. We are going to start with the old and new configuration of the API. Then we're going to explain the AMI and Qmetrics integration. Then we're going to talk about the CRM and PMS integration. And we're going to talk about SNMP monitoring as well. Previously, our UCM API was only capable of getting CDR, file recordings, and PMS information. This now has been expanded to more functionalities that we call new API configuration. It covers all type of information retrieval and configuration of the UCM settings through API queries. We'll explore this in detail in this section. Let's talk first about API old configuration and starting with the CDR API. CDR, called detail record, as we have explained previously, is a data record generated by the PBX that contains attributes specific to a single instance of phone call handled by the PBX. It has several data fields to provide detailed description for the call, such as phone number of the calling party, phone number of the receiving party, start time, call duration, etc. UCM 6000 models support CDR API interface to interact with third-party external billing software and collect recording detail files from the PBX. The API uses HTTPS to request the CDR data and call recording data matching given parameters as configured on third-party application. HTTPS requests are used to retrieve the CDR data matching given parameters as configured on the third-party application, and for the output, three formats are supported: CSV, XML, and JSON, and for each one of these formats have output fields that indicate information about the CDR record. As old configuration, recording API is supported as well. The call recording API, same as CDR, has a format of HTTPS request, which is used to request call recordings. The response to the request is either a CSV file or a WAV file containing call recording files within the *pool directories. We also support PMS API, but we're going to talk about that in a later section in this class. In the UCM 6000 series, we are currently keeping old and new configuration in order to avoid confusing people who are using the old configuration and wish to keep on using it for the moment. But for your information, the new configuration for API interface is covering what we have on the old configuration, in addition to more functionalities and configuration possibilities. UCM 6000 models supports a new HTTPS API interface to query, edit PBX settings, and implement multiple call functions on another server connected to it via API. PBX will actively send system reports and call reports to this other server. Additionally, Legacy CDR API, REC API, and PMS API are supported. Users must configure the HTTPS API settings and get familiar with the feature's communication method, request structure, response messages, and event reports, and of course, we have guides describing everything about HTTPS API to help our customers while using it. In these next two slides, I am listing for you the HTTPS API methods supported by the UCM in order to give you an idea about the operations that can be performed on the UCM. For example, users can check UCM system and version information with the method getSystemStatus. Users can send this method and the UCM will immediately send a response back with the needed information. Users can configure the UCM settings such as adding new SIP accounts, VoIP trunks, inbound or outbound routes, or adding call queues, for instance. They also can update existing call queues or SIP accounts or VoIP trunks, or even deleting them if needed. The same for paging, intercom, and IVR. You can get all the information you need and apply all the needed configuration using the supported methods. More commands are supported for voice calling in order to get all the information needed about the channels and calls going through the UCM, or even perform some call management features such as hold and unhold, mute and unmute, and dialing an extension, call transfer, etc. And like I have said before, CDR, recording, and PMS API are supported with the API new configuration, as well as many new commands that you can check in details from the documentation in our website. And now we're going to talk about the AMI Asterisk Management Interface. AMI allows a client's program to connect to an Asterisk instance and issue commands or read events over TCP/IP stream. This is particularly useful when the integrators try to track the state of a telephony client inside Asterisk. You always should keep in mind that if user is not taking all security steps to protect his device from unauthorized access, he should not enable AMI on the UCM. This can cause a security issue. Before enabling or working with AMI, users should absolutely have the necessary knowledge about the risk associated with AMI and protect your device, of course. The actions supported are limited for the client to use, and each of them is decided by the module in Asterisk server, and only one action can be performed each time. Before talking about the example of actions we can perform using AMI, users should make sure that he or she is logged in and authenticated first. And here are some examples of the actions that can be performed. You can originate an internal call between two internal SIP extensions. You can originate an external call via a pre-configured trunk on the UCM. For channel hangup, it's a command that will hang up active calls. Query the status of queue, meaning that you can get all information about your call queue, such as completed calls, abandoned calls, and the total call count, etc. Query the status of agents in queues, meaning getting information about the agent's calls. There are many more commands, but comparatively to API, it's very limited. Now let's talk about Qmetrics integration. UCM 6000 series have integrated Qmetrics, which is a highly scalable monitoring and reporting suite that addresses the needs of thousands of contact centers worldwide, offering a broad range of integrated benefits and delivering a powerful call center solution that makes Qmetrics users able to monitor and manage call centers with a simple and easy-to-use interface. Currently, UCM models are supporting the following features with Qmetrics: agent login, agent logoff, real-time monitoring pausing, real-time monitoring barging, real-time monitoring transferring, real-time monitoring end calls, and generating performance reports. And next we have the CRM integration with the UCM models. CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management, and in order to improve business relationships with customers, companies use CRM, which is all strategies, technologies that can be used to manage and analyze customer interactions and data throughout the customer lifecycle. The UCM models support currently some of the most popular CRM like Salesforce, Sugar CRM, vTiger CRM, Zoho CRM version 2, and Act CRM. And we're going to move on to PMS integration. PMS, or Property Management System, is mainly used for hotels management to automate some hotel functions such as guest booking, check-in and check-out, guest details, wake-up calls, room status, etc. The UCM models support PMS functions including check-in and check-out services, wake-up calls, room status, do not disturb, which provide an ease of management for hotel applications. The communication flow, as you can see in the figure, can be either done directly or through a middleware, and the middlewares that we support are HMobile and HSC, and for the direct integration we support Mitel PMS and IDS PMS. I should also point out that we have an API for the PMS. This basically allows the user to use their own middleware to work with the PMS system instead of currently supported ones. Users also have the option to enable automatic backup of voicemail recordings from the hotel room extensions upon guest checkout. Voicemail can be backed up to an SD card, USB disk, NAS storage, or an SFTP server. Additionally, users can configure an email address to send voicemail recordings to when they're backed up. And in this last section, we are going to talk about SNMP monitoring for the UCM 6300. UCM 6300 series supports SNMP for third-party integration of monitoring tools. This ensures that the enterprise can monitor the UCM device using their SNMP monitoring tool and keep the monitoring tool of the network devices centralized in one dashboard, and also in case of having more than one UCM device, without having to deal with the inconvenience of decentralized monitoring. The UCM supports SNMP v1, which is the basic version of SNMP, and for additional level of security, the UCM can also use SNMP version 2, but if security is primordial, the UCM supports SNMP version 3, which supports robust authentication and encryption protocols.